What's happening, folks? This is Ian, and I want to welcome you all back to the Common Sense Collective. Today, I'm going to give an update of a video I dropped, I believe it was in 2018, which was entitled Samples Not Just for Broke Folks. Now, that's a very crude title, but it served a purpose, and the purpose of the title was the fact that there are many scents out there that are amazing. There are many niche fragrance houses that many of us do not have access to given our geographic reasons. And sampling is a very, very good way and inexpensive way to get involved in fragrances that you wouldn't be able to find at your local retailer. You may not live in a Houston or in Atlanta or Chicago or New York City or any other major metropolitan hub that has stores such as Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue, Nordstrom, etc. So I'll just drop that video back then to show people the couple of samples that I was had my hands on. One of those I still have with me here, and it was Bond Number 9, I Love New York. Now, as far as I know, I don't believe that this is a fake scent. I know this scent was discontinued a while back. I can't recall exactly how long because I haven't researched this in a while. But when you put this scent on, it's very alcoholic. It has to dry down for a couple minutes, and then you begin to get the notes of I Love New York. I kind of disappointed that this one was discontinued, or I believe it was discontinued. Don't quote me on that one because I didn't have the opportunity to do a lot of research on this specific scent. But this was a blind buy that was really good to me. Whenever it dries down, it smells amazing. I've gotten people 7 or 8 feet away from me that smell the dry down were amazed by it. So this is just a sample. Most people know what this is, but that's one thing I'll say. I'm actually dropping another video about fake perfumes and fake colognes, fake fragrances with Tom Ford Lost Cherry. I haven't dropped that yet, but be on the lookout for it. Just a couple of things to look for, but let's keep moving. This is Boyce 1920 Oltremare. I'm pretty sure I butchered that. This is heavy citrus, smells amazing. This was a blind buy. I believe it was $20, maybe $15. And I do a lot of blind buys based on reviews. And a couple of the scents that you see here are blind buys, or were blind buys. One of my favorite scents of all time, Tom Ford, Tobacco Vanille. Used it all up, as you can see. Ran out, and so you know what? The sample proved to me that it will wear good on my skin. For some reason, Tom Ford fragrances do not last a long time on me, but Tobacco Vanille, Noir, De Noir, and Grey Vetiver are exceptions to the rule, so I had to get this. As you can see, I have the sample here. When picked up the Tobacco Vanille from, I believe this was Macy's. Had to go get it. So what I will tell you is, if you buy a cologne sample and it's that good, my recommendation for you is to just go ahead. Once you use your sample, go get it. Go get it. You won't be disappointed because you know it smells amazing. And more so if it makes you feel good. Another one, Acqua Absolu. Had a sample of this one. Oops, I'm sorry. This is actually Bvlgari Man Wood Essence. Now, this was actually a blind buy. No, this came from a website. I was just one day just hunting for free samples, and an advertisement for Bvlgari came up, and I ordered this, and they sent me a card. It took a couple weeks, but they sent me a card that had a sample of this. I like the smell of it. I was at a Marshall's one day, and came across Bvlgari Man Black. And I was like, yeah, I'll check it out, see what it's about. And it turned out to be pretty good smelling. So based on this sample, I was able to get Bvlgari Man Black, which I keep in the truck for work. It was on like 20 or 30 bucks. So even though I like the smell of it, it's reserved for one of those on-the-go fragrances. It isn't a fragrance that I keep in my in-house collection. It's a fragrance that if I need to go somewhere, if I'm going to work and want to hit a couple spritz or something, boom, boom, boom. With the Man Black in the truck, we're good to go. Here is the Bacardi, not the Bacardi, well, where's my mind? The Acqua Absolu. Now this stuff just caught me by surprise. It smelled really good, and I got the sample first. I can't recall where I got the sample, honestly, but got the sample of it. Went home, and a buddy of mine had some black market deals that he was working, but I was able to get a bottle of Acqua Absolu. I believe this is a tester. Put it out the box. This stuff smells great. But this was purchased as a result of a sample. Don't sleep on samples, man. Now, this is one of my favorite scents that the only reason I have not purchased yet was because I still have a large sample of it left. And this is Alpha Fragrance is not affiliated with them, but this is the centerpiece for him. I first bought this sample. I cannot remember where. I was on the Bond number 9 tip because I just bought Bleecker Street as well as Chez Bon. So I was on the Bond number 9 tip, and I just heard about this when I was looking at reviews. I was still didn't know much about fragrance notes. So I was looking for the best description of what season it would be in and location people recommend to wear it. Ran out of this one, pretty much empty. Had to re-up. This is one of my favorite juices. It is so fresh, one of the best in my time, spring or summertime scents you can have. This is a sample that was purchased on behalf of another sample. And whenever I run out of this sample, I'm probably just going to go to Saks Fifth and grab up a bottle. But I still have damn near full bottles of Chez Bon, Bleecker Street, as well as Sutton Place. So I'm going to try to wear on those a little bit. Excuse me. Another one. Went to Sephora, was smelling different fragrances. Because Sephora can have some jewels. They have a lot of Juliette Has A Gun. They have the Maison Margiela brands. So this was there sniffing around and ran upon something that was strange but oddly refreshing. Have it on right now. Still sniffed it. And that is Juliette Has A Gun, A Perfume. Now, I had Juliette Has A Gun vanilla vibes, and it smelled amazing, very light, very creamy. But for some reason, the vanilla was too feminine for me. I could pull it off. I don't know if it was when it comes to when it comes to me, fragrances can be seasonal. They can be just where I am mentally. It could be if I'm in a relationship or not, how I feel. So my life will determine the circumstances that are going on in my life will determine the fragrances. And I don't know what it was, but Vanilla Vibes by Juliette Has A Gun was just a little too feminine for me. So I wound up giving it to my mom, but I did love the scent profile, so I went to test a couple other ones, and lo and behold, I ran up on A Perfume. Love the smell of it, and now, as you can see, I now own A Perfume. Now, this contains something named Cetylox, which I'm not familiar with. It's the only fragrance note in this, and it's a very, very unique fragrance note. But just going to show you inside, black on black box, white bottle with the little embossed design. Simple and plain, fresh as hell. Fresher than a fresh haircut when you're cutting grass and some new clothes, which I'm not sure why you would do, but that just seems to make sense. And this, the big dog, Grey Vetiver. Interesting story behind Grey Vetiver. This is a second sample of Grey Vetiver that I had. I bought Grey Vetiver a couple years back as a sample, and it smelled like gray flannel to me. If anyone knows what gray flannel is, it is a leather smelling scent almost. I guess maybe some vetiver in it, but to me, it was just kind of an old man scent. And what happened, and I can tell you what happened now with Grey Vetiver, is I did not give Grey Vetiver a chance to even fully dry down. I caught the top notes, and my nose was not as complex as it is now, and I decided, nah, I'm done with it. I don't like it. I revisited this stuff, and it was done. Over with. A wrap. Done. Over with. And as you can see, I still have a bottle. Have a lot of the sample bottle roll on left, but I just had to do it. I had to go get it. I was also watching Kevin Samuels. Shout out to Kevin Samuels, the Godfather of YouTube style. Guy is amazing. Has an amazing channel. Go check him out. Become a patron even. Guy has some really good stuff. And he pretty much makes guys take accountability. Really respect that about him. Love his show. But as you can see, I had to go get it. Heard the information from him that this may be going out of business. And on top of that, I shop sales. I'm not sure which one of these was from Saks and which one from Macy's. But I'm pretty sure I got Tobacco Vanille for about $50 less than the actual cost was. And this was from Macy's. either Macy's or Saks. So no BS, Amazon or eBay directly from the store. So no worries about authenticity. Same with Grey Vetiver. Grey Vetiver was on sale. Why? Don't know. Maybe it is going out of stock. You may be able to catch a bottle for cheap now. But this stuff, sexy. Hey, I see myself. Sexy, seductive, amazing. It smells amazing. Super crisp. And just a couple other samples. I am a big advocate of buying. I'm a big advocate of blind buying samples, because when you blind buy a sample, you're not losing. You may have 10 or 15 bucks that you may lose. And at the end of the day, in the grand scheme of things, 10 or 15 bucks for something that likely smells amazing is a lot more than 110, 150 bucks for something that you know you don't even like the smell of. Dior Homme Intense. Now, I heard about this on a couple YouTube channels and bought this sample. I can say that upon when this sample is empty, I'm likely going to try to find a bottle of this, because I don't believe it is overly expensive. I don't want it at the moment, but when this is done, I'm going to get it. Another one, PDM Carlisle. I'm on the fence about Carlisle. It smells really good, and I would like to get a bottle of it. But I think with Carlisle, given the profile of it, I can wait until I finish this sample, and then I'll go get some more about some Carlisle. Screensaver just freaked the hell out of me. And this one, Imaginary Authors, Memoirs of a Trespasser. I am looking for this scent right now. I was going to go to the American Authors website, but I just got some Tom Ford, Tom Ford Oud Fleur. I have that coming. I have a bottle of Swiss Arabian juice coming. And I have another Bond number 9. Another rose tinted or rose imagined Bond number 9 coming. So it kind of threw me off in getting Imaginary Authors, but this is a cologne I can see wearing at least once or twice a week, depending on my environment. I spend a lot of time outdoors walking around, so in the summertime, I like to stick to samples like the Centerpiece, my lighter fragrances. This is an afternoon fragrance for me, or if I'm in the office most of the day in an environment about 72, 74 degrees. Imaginary Authors, Sillage is great. Sillage is great. Projection is pretty good. This is a strong, powerful scent that will turn heads. So, hope everybody enjoyed the video. I just want to express to everybody that many of these fragrances, as I'm learning, are expensive. And just another general note I want to say, there are a lot of guys on YouTube that have amazing collections. But these gentlemen have likely been in business, have had long-standing professional careers, so they have their money right, so they can afford to get 10 bottles of said brand and buy an entire fragrance house. And what I'm trying to do, and I'm trying to learn, I'm putting into action is, I want to become a fragrance blogger for niche fragrance houses, but there's certain things I need to do financially, so samples will be the keys for me if I start making reviews. I have other scents as well, but just something I want to keep in mind. Start with samples, start small, and build your collection up. Because I know one thing, I was looking at these guys, and like, man, look how many bottles he has. Not knowing many of these guys are retired, things of that nature. So start slow, continue to build your way up, and let's grow this thing together. I appreciate you looking in. You all have a good night. Be safe. Check us out. Instagram, The Common Sense Collective. And check out the podcast, The Common Sense Collective, now on Apple Music, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Thank y'all. Be safe. Comment, like, and subscribe, everybody. Peace.